What's going on, Jeromes? So, of course, we're accustomed to the national media jabroni haircuts. All the haters and the losers just pressing their thumb down on the scale against the Minnesota Vikings. So much so that during the season, we keep tabs on all the national media jabroni rankings, just like, boop, how low can you go, right? But a little bit surprising. So Eric Edholm over at NFL.com, the post-Super Bowl power rankings, first one of the 2025 season, and remember, Edholm was the one who refused to give the Vikings the number one spot, and then eventually Vikings fans got after him on social media, and then eventually he was like, okay, tranquillo. And the Vikings were up there at one for a while, right? But does respect from the national media really matter? At the end of the day, not really, but a lot of people still get a lot of their information and football takes from the traditional media outlets, and what they say has sway over what the hell is going on in the football atmosphere. So at the end of the day, it does matter, right? So Eric Edholm, NFL.com, the Vikings actually got a modicum of respect. Also, I like this one where ESPN, they had the Lions ahead of the Eagles, which I have no love lost for the Eagles, but I feel like if you're the Super Bowl champion, you just still start at 1. You know what I mean? Yeah. But the Eagles, you got the Chiefs at 2. I don't know, man. Like, the Chiefs are a very flawed team. I mean, they may have one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, but they got a lot of issues all over the place, and they got exposed in the Super Bowl. You got the Buffalo Bills. Man, Bills, if you can't beat the Chiefs, what chances do you have of beating an NFC team? I don't know. The Lions at 4. Lions got gutted. The brain trust is drained, so I don't know. The Ravens at 5. I mean, how do they just keep coming up short? Like, the regular season champions over and over and over again. And I know that John Harbaugh has already won a Super Bowl, but they just seem like the Peyton Manning Colts before they broke through. Great in the regular season and just can't get it done in the postseason for whatever reason. I don't know. Commies at 6, respect. Plus, they got a ton of cap space. They're going to get some weapons for Jaden Daniels. They're going to rebuild that defense. And I think the Commies are going to be trouble. I think the Commies are going to give the Eagles a run in the NFC East. And I think that they're going to be an issue for a while for the Vikings moving forward. Plus, how great is Jaden Daniels? Just dragging his team's ass to the NFC title game in year 1. Awesome to see. Got the Vikings at 7. Brrr. So the Vikings at 7, the number 3 team in the NFC behind the Lions. The number 4 team in the NFC behind the Eagles, the Lions, and the Commies. But the Vikings at 7, I feel like that's okay. And mainly, I'm just glad that we're ahead of the Packers because ESPN had the Packers, had the Vikings. I have no idea what their logic was, but this is what Edholm wrote. Kevin O'Connell probably thought he wouldn't need to provide opaque answers about Sam Darnold's future in Minnesota until the NFL Scouting Combine at the earliest, but he's already had to publicly clarify that no decisions have been made on the impending free agent. To me, it would be stunning if the Vikings protect themselves by applying the franchise tag to Darnold at the very least. It wouldn't be stunning. Oh, it wouldn't be stunning. Oh, even if they believe J.J. McCarthy remains a quarterback of the future, they don't truly know what they have in the 2024 first-round pick is coming off the equivalent of a redshirt year after suffering a season-ending injury in August. Plus, the quarterback market looks tepid outside of Darnold, meaning Minnesota might be able to get something in return for him in the coming months and a tag-and-trade option or something or sometime after that. Thanks to all those factors, maintaining some measure of control of his rights this offseason feels like the smartest plan going around. Now, the Vikings have a ton of cap space. Franchise tagging or transition tagging Darnold definitely would throw a wrench into that plan. But it's interesting. And I never thought about, hey, you hang on to Darnold and you could potentially tag and trade him anytime during the offseason, right? And the franchise tag doesn't hit on the books until the start of the regular season. Right? So the Vikings could still move Sam Darnold, and even though he would have the franchise tag, and even if he signed it, franchise or transition tag, it would mean that the Vikings could still move him and no muss, no fuss. I mean, it's not like there's a signing bonus attached to a franchise tag, which would linger on the books. So that will give the Vikings flexibility because maybe they don't trade him before the draft. Maybe a team is looking for a quarterback. Maybe they miss out on the ones in the draft and they're just like, okay. But although that would certainly be the least appealing since you'd be trading for draft capital that you wouldn't be able to use till 2026. But I don't know. There's a lot of options there, but the Vikings there at 7. I feel like that's honest. I feel like that's calling a spade, even though the Vikings have some pieces that are pending free agents. You look at Beasley, you look at Byron Murphy Jr., you look at Darnold, you look at Aaron Jones. I think as a whole, like the core is intact, the core is young, and also I do believe in J.J. McCarthy. Plus, Flores in year 3, with his defense, revamped it in a couple of spots, and also the Vikings having a ton of free agent money, cap space, and not a ton of draft picks, but they should be good to go. So the Vikings at 7, Packers at 8, good. Should be lower. Bucks at 9. Where are the Bears? Yeah, the Rams out there 11. I feel like that was the last gallant rush, the one last gasp for the Rams, because Cooper Kupp gone, Stafford might be gone. We might be turning the page there in L.A. Broncos down, good. Steelers. Hey, remember when everyone was all in on the Bears? Nick Wright even predicted they were going to the Super Bowl this year. The Bears at 22. The whole thing about Ben Johnson, can Caleb Williams be the guy, and blah, 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 but it's kind of funny. Who's dead last? I want to know. Ooh, Saints there at 28, too high. The Jaguars, the G-Men, the Tennessee Titans. Oh, yeah, the Browns. Oh, yeah, because Myles Garrett wants out. When a player wants out, he's going to get out. Like, the team can play hardball all they want, but you just want an asset sitting on the sidelines. And, yeah, you don't have to pay him. You can suspend him, but no, just get what you can and move on. And also, Deshaun Watson re-aggravated the Achilles, whatever. So who knows who's going to be a quarterback. I feel bad for Stefanski, man. And Stefanski, 2-time coach of the year. Obviously, Deshaun was pushed on him and probably pushed on Andrew Berry, too. I honestly don't see – Andrew Berry's a smart dude. I don't see him doing that trade unless it was mandated by ownership. And I know that these jobs are hard to come by. There's only 32 of them, but you just see how bad ownership can affect a team. It's just tough, man. But the Vikings are at 7. Still a lot of work to do. It's interesting getting a little bit of respect. Maybe they'll carry over. Who knows? But this is one of the most important off seasons in team history. I mean, last season offseason was extremely important as well. Moving on for Kurt as well as Daniil, and Kwesi brought in probably the greatest free agent class in NFL history with Darnold, with Jones, with Grenard, AVG, Stephon Gilmore, etc. So Cashman outside, how about that? And I do think that they will get things done. But again, interesting. The way that the media sort of shifted. It's like, after a 14-win season, and also you have most of your major parts coming back, and even though Darnold probably won't be coming back, you got J.J. McCarthy waiting in the wings. Oh, that's not bad. It's not bad. Oh, yeah, and you have the coach of the year, and you have one of the best defensive coordinators of the game back for the 3rd season. Not so bad. Also, the only assistant you lost was an assistant OC and assistant quarterbacks coach, so whatever. Yeah. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. Vikings finally just getting a smidge of respect. Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, comment section. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull production value.